Well, we're back again. Had a little break there. Had a 1 week break because it was New Year, sorting a lot of stuff out. Run out of guests a bit, so I had to kind of adjust it a little bit. I'm experimenting. What can I say? The other week we had Liam. That was an experiment with him. I've never met him, and I did a whole podcast with him, so that was fun. So this week I do know this person. But I'm experimenting with the layout a bit. I'm going to throw in some more jingles every now and then, just to split up a bit, because I think 45 minutes, solid or thereabouts of just two people talking, one person in a damn wardrobe is maybe a bit too much. So yeah, I'm going to experiment this time. So bear with me. But this is great though, because we've got a really good guest. He's been doing a lot of stuff, I believe. And he's now in the wardrobe, and it was a bit apprehensive getting in, but most people are. So without further ado, I introduce to you Ross Blair. How's it going?
I'm good, thank you, Dan.
Yeah? How about that wardrobe?
Wow, it's a lot smaller than I had in mind.
Everyone says that.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm doing it though, because there's been so many, I've listened to so many podcasts where I've been like, God, it sounds like it's been recorded in a cupboard, and
now
I actually am, yeah, which is great.
Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
So what are the podcasts you are listening to?
I was listening to a bit of Justin Morehouse.
Oh yeah.
He's alright. I did the sound and lights for one of his shows in Lincoln.
Oh yeah.
So he's a lovely bloke, so I thought I'll check out some of his stuff.
Do him a favour.
Yeah.
Nice.
That'd be great.
So you do sound.
Sound and lights, yeah.
Sound is your thing.
Yeah, training to be a sound and light engineer.
Ooh.
So
how's that going?
It's alright.
Yeah.
Money. It keeps me ticking over between studies. So it's alright.
What are you studying then?
I study audio production.
Oh, okay.
At the University of
Makes
Lincoln.
sense.
Yeah.
It's got good production value placed there. I did media production at university,
right,
so Are you enjoying the audio production?
Yeah, it's alright actually. I've come across some crazy theories and stuff.
Crazy theories?
Theories, yeah. So I had to do an essay on affect theory in rave music and dance culture.
Okay.
Really weird. Really quite. It's hard to explain. I'm not sure I understand it myself.
No.
No, I'm not.
Try to sum it up in the most.
So affect theory is this idea that there's forces on our body that we can't understand, but they still impact us.
Right.
And change, and our body responds to them in ways that are perhaps beyond our understanding or conscious.
Okay. So
if you apply that to music, sometimes music can feel good even though we don't know why. We can't. Dan, you'll know about semiotics.
Yes.
In mediation and representation. I did the same module, and they basically say that everything is a code and a sign and a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And that has meaning attached to it, and that meaning is derived from culture. To put it in very brief terms, but
sure.
But with affect, so one of the limitations of semiotics is that you can't really apply that to music so much. There are musics out there that have meaning to them, especially if they've got lyrics.
Yeah.
But if we look at dance music, none of it's biographical. Most of it's instrumental. But people still enjoy it. People still, still go out in their masses to listen to it. And there's something beyond the meaning of it. There's something beyond our conscious understanding that enables us to enjoy it really. And it's basically how the music changes us. Is what our affect is, what our how our body basically responds to the forces upon it, and music is one of those, and sound is one of those forces. and you can't really explain that with codes and signs and cultural myths and so on and so forth. So that's why affect theory has been really important, I think, in my and why it's been really interesting to learn about it.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm always interested in stuff like that. How different things, especially audio, how it makes us feel and how we react to it. It's really interesting. So what are you hoping to? Obviously, you're gonna try and train in being a sound and light engineer. How is your degree going to help you with that? Are you because you're doing a lot of theory stuff by the sounds of it?
I think it helps in the sense that by being at uni, I get the opportunity to work at a venue that's associated with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, there are little things that I have learned that apply to a live music situation, but
yeah,
a lot of what I could learn on the job. And that's the beauty of it. I think it's the two go in hand, but they're not inseparable. I think, which is great.
sure. I've said that a lot. I think I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Mark or a previous guest. That with degrees in that, especially media orientated ones, it's very rarely do you get more experience from the actual degree. It actually comes from any placements or anything you do outside of it. So it's good to hear you're doing stuff like that. I know you do quite a bit with the Comedy Society for it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
As you are one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I try as much as I can to make sure that the events that we have on there are. I try and make sure that we get what we want in a way, not to sound pushy. I mean, because I think a lot of people, if you ask most people in the street, they probably wouldn't know, what gain is on a microphone and a mixer or something like that.
Yeah,
kind of thing. And so I thought, what I've noticed is sort of like people they know what they want, but they're not quite sure how to ask for it.
Sure.
In a way, and so I'm sort of like the liaison in a way. I think I've put myself in that position. Really, I've not. No one's really asked me. I've sort of said, right, guys, we need to make sure we have like this, and this. I'm going to be there I'm going to be there an hour early, whether you want me there or not, to make sure that the technician knows that I want an intro music. I want like intro music and all that.
Yeah.
Because it's frustrating. I mean, I've had it before where people have come, they've booked out a room, and they've been like, "Oh, can we have some music?" And we're like, "Yeah, have you got an iPod? I can plug you in." They're like, "Oh no, we were hoping you have it." No, we don't. We have the equipment that can amplify it, and we can operate that equipment, and we can make sure that we can give you a microphone to talk into, for example, but we don't carry. I mean, I've got an iPod, but it's full of death metal that most people don't want. So, and I've got other things to worry about, and so.
Are you sick and tired of waiting for your audio to get to you delayed? You ain't got the time for that. Of course you haven't. So why not use WavGo? WavGo is a service that brings audio straight to your ears, and you don't even have to wait. It's instant. Why would you want a delay on it? It comes straight to your ears with no problem. It's a service that you must have. Listen to me, but listen to WavGo. That's WAV Go, which is GO for go. I've had it.
Things like that.
That's like, it's good to have that though, because I think you want, especially with like comedy side stuff or doing comedy gigs, you want it to still have this air of professionalism to it. Because I was president for a bit, and I think I did it to a degree, but I know that there were a few times where I was like, this could have been more professional. I kind of just made this more of a, hey, it's a comedy society thing, let's just do it. And there's you got to still put some more effort in to make sure that it still runs
Yeah,
as smoothly as
definitely.
it can.
There's a bit of a dichotomy with like when you're putting on a free show.
Yeah,
Because on the one hand, it should be free. It's free. You get what you pay for. So really, it shouldn't really matter whether the lights look good or whether
yeah,
whether everything is right or is like precise. Like, because if you really want that, and if you go pay for it. Really, that's kind of what an entry fee is partly for. Not just for paying for the act, but also paying for the the technical side of things and the paying for the venue and things like that.
sure.
The problem is you still want to put on a good show.
Absolutely, I think.
You want people to come out enjoying it, and it gets quite tricky because if you put on this really polished show that's free, people think, oh, I don't have to. They can't. I think they kind of go into it or they come out of it thinking that it's more than it actually is.
Yeah, and also, like, say you did end up doing a show which you could charge for, you've already got that experience of putting on a decent show, so it helps.
There is that. It helps in that way because I think it's great being able to practice things that I wouldn't normally be able to practice in an open mic night, in any of the other open mic nights that I've been to. Because usually, if you have an open mic night or a free show, there's usually in like a pub or something on the side, like there's a bar and there's like noise at the bar or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's sort of just like tacked on in a room, whereas here, what we're really lucky with because we've got a functional venue that's purpose built for live events.
And it's really good for comedy. Actually, that venue.
It's brilliant. Actually, I love it. I love using it. And the way the venue is, it completely alters. I think it makes you work harder. I think.
Sure.
In a way.
If you're in a good location, you're gonna. If you're in a pub, you're gonna be like, "Well, I'm in a pub. There's not much I can do here."
See, and that's the weird thing because that makes you work harder in a different way.
Yeah.
So, for example, I did one a while back at a pub, and we were tucked in the corner, and just before the open mic night was supposed to start. Bear in mind, this is like just a comedy open mic night. It's not a mixed open mic night. Before it was supposed to start, loads of people turned up and like stood in front of the bar, which happened to be the audience area.
Brilliant.
And there were people in the other side of the room that weren't part of the same sort of place we were.
Yeah.
But they were talking, but you could hear them. They were talking really. So there's just this noise, just the noise of people talking, and that presents a new challenge because then you have to, as just one guy with a microphone, have to try and get their attention and get them to shut up and listen to you. And I nearly managed it, and I worked so hard on I was like, right, I'm going to open with this one. It's offensive, but they'll hear it and they might, and it worked. And I thought for a second, right, I got it, because I remember one of the blokes turning around going, oh. Kind of, laughing, but like, ooh, that's a bit, I think he might have said something else, but he turned around and looked at me, and I thought, right, I've got him. And so I tried going into something a bit more light-hearted, but as soon as the laughs went, as soon as I stopped making jokes, they just went, they went again as quickly as I got them. I thought, fuck. So I was having to battle against them for like another 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I find that as helpful as well. I find that helpful as much as a venue that's designed for comedy, where people are there for comedy.
Yeah.
Because if something works in a venue where it shouldn't work, it's going to work anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's your strongest material, and then you keep that, and you go, right, I can either write more like this, or I'll try stuff out, and the stuff that sticks, I can.
Yeah, I think there's a certain type of comedian that's good at that, and it's not one that might, like myself or someone like me, where it takes a little time to get going. just to set up the jokes and stuff. But if you're a good one-liner or a good audience pleaser, gong shows are really good for that.
Yeah.
But also saying that, like, I did take a lot from those kind of things because there was a lot of pressure on it because you're fully aware that the audience has got even more control over you. Because for those that don't know, a gong show is like basically you go on, usually you get a grace period. Some of them they vary from like the comedy stores. They're like 30 seconds, if that. I think
the King Gong.
King Gongs, there's no grace period.
It's literally the minute the second they.
Yeah.
The second they don't like you, they'll vote you off.
Yeah.
I did the one in Manchester and I lasted 47 seconds.
That's pretty good.
Is it?
I think so. From what, like, a few of my friends did it a while back. They did the Manchester one, and I don't know if I should say it, but I'm going to say it anyway because he's probably not even listening. One of my mates, he went on. He was really pumped for it, and he goes on and immediately like trips onto stage, gets up, gets to the mic, and goes, and they gong him off. And it's just like, yeah, it sounds absolutely brutal.
Is that someone that I know as well?
No, I don't.
Is it
one
of your? Okay, yeah.
It's from past Comedy Society.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you would have met him. But yeah, just 47 seconds, not too bad. Like, especially like, usually they encourage the audience to be as brutal as possible.
The one I went. I've only ever been to the one, and I'm not doing it again. The one I went to at Manchester, what the audience were the human equivalent of the comment section on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Honestly, they were that bad.
Yeah.
And they started out all right at first, and I remember the first guy who was on, he was this magician, and he was weird. It was weird because first of all, the jokes he told weren't even his jokes. Some of them.
Yeah.
That's a no-no.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he had like a box with something in it. It was supposed to be with his tricks, but I don't know why it worked out this way. But he had it positioned in such a way that he couldn't stand directly in front of the microphone. So he stood like about a meter away from the microphone, and like you can just about hear it. And what you can hear is just awful.
Yeah.
But even then you can't hear him, and I think just because he was the first one on, that was the only reason they let him go for so long, because they were like,
yeah.
I think it took them a while to realise, oh wait, we can kick this guy off right now, like, or he was really looking in the fact that the three people who were in charge of voting for him, the three audience members who had a red card, they were probably just not sure, maybe they
just wanted to see where it was going.
Yeah. And it wasn't going anywhere, and we never found out what was in the box.
That definitely kind of happened for me
Mm.
on one gong show. The worst thing you could probably do is do a bit of alternative comedy, and so I did the most alternative set I've probably done, and I got this cardboard cutout, and it was like this. It's like a small cardboard cutout of a person, and I basically recorded myself as this cardboard cutout telling jokes. And and I gave it to them and said, basically just play this during it and I'll improvise around it. And so, as you can imagine, I went up there with this cardboard cutout. I was like, so hey, I'm not actually going to do the gig today. I've got this cardboard cutout. I called him Chris as well. Cardboard cutout Chris. 'Cause why not? And I lasted probably 2 and a bit minutes, only because it just, like, the recording was way too long, and and I tried to leave gaps in there for laughs, but
you didn't.
there wasn't enough. There wasn't any there, and also there was bits where I was meant to react, and I wasn't like on it enough to make it convincing. So yeah, not the thing to do at that kind of gig. Gong. 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 That's 3 strikes. You're out of there. Get off the stage. Boo. The amount of like work in progress
Yeah,
shows you get.
definitely.
Like I saw Stuart Lee's work in progress last
Oh, yeah.
year, and it's weird because he's so natural on stage with like such a clever, well worked set that you see him doing a work in progress, and he's just basically he dresses down for it as well.
Oh, right.
So he's just wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and he's got all this paper just on a stool next to him, and he's just filtering through it and just going, right, let's
Yeah.
try this next, and then he'll start writing on it and being like, right, that didn't work. And yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of effort going into something
Yeah.
like that. Obviously, that's like a hour and a half show, but it still kind of applies to starting out and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think.
When you're starting out, you're only given like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is all you. I mean, that's more than you. I mean, that's as much as you really need. I think in places like New York, I only know this from what I've read. I've never experienced it.
Yeah.
But I think stage time is so sought after that for like open mic nights and stuff like that, you get like 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So like enough time for like a few jokes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's so it's even more refined there. But I mean, you know, if you can do it in 2 minutes, then you get a few laughs out of that, and that's good. You're doing all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny you mentioned the work in progress, because it's only recently that they've been called that.
Yeah.
Because traditionally, and for a lot of people they still are, they're called preview shows.
Yeah.
So someone's working on a show for Edinburgh, they're writing it through September to July. They'll put on preview shows, or they call them preview shows. And I saw someone wrote about it saying that like the problem with that is it's a bit of a misnomer, because people think that what they're seeing is what they're going to see if they pay full price.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's just this is the show before the show. You're getting in early, but it's not.
It's like and I remember hearing about Henry Vane, who's one of the best comedians out there at the moment.
Yeah.
And he had a preview show for, I can't remember which show it was, and the audience were booing him constantly.
Oh yeah, I think I remember hearing this. Yeah.
And he was saying, no, there aren't any jokes now, but there will be in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
There aren't any punchlines now, but there will be. There will be. Give me a chance. And that all came about just because the audience had a misunderstanding of what they were actually paying for.
Yeah.
And so I've seen a lot more now. They've been called work in progress, so that people know that this is not the final product.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Is like,
you get a lot of that now, especially at the Fringe. Like you'll get the first week, like 'cause it's a month thing. There'll be like the first few days before it all kicks off, where all the major comedians, at least, are doing the preview shows, and it's like £5 cheaper than normal, and people go and they don't. But I think I've been to one. I can't remember who it was now. I can't remember. And he had a preview show on, and I went to see it, and it wasn't great. And so I was like, but I could tell it was going to be good, so I straight away booked for another date later on, and it turns out it was really good. And God damn it, I can't remember his name. But yeah, things like that. I really, I think people do need to realise more that it's work in progress, not preview. That's a lot of comedy we've talked about.
It is, yeah.
That's a big old chunk. Is there anything else you want to talk about? What are you doing right now that's not comedy related? Anything?
One of the things I'm trying to do is try and get back into like playing the piano.
Oh, okay.
I used to have lessons before I came to uni, and I got a bit good.
A bit good.
Yeah. And I just enjoyed it as well. And it was nice to be able to start out with something that I didn't know how to play,
Yeah.
and then I have to, just by rigorously practicing, I could just like memorize it. I found I haven't. I kind of wish I'd started it younger, but I didn't. I started when I was like 17, I think.
Yeah.
And what I realized was that if I just sit down and just play it really slow, this sounds really obvious, but it took me a while to realize that if I just play the same thing really slowly, eventually my muscles will,
React to
I'll
it.
get, I can program my muscle memory to then play it. And I went for a bit where I'd been playing like Bach and Mozart,
Yeah.
and I'd start the song, and I'd get to the end, and I'd forget I'd played it. No, I'd be like, "Was that good? Did I do well?"
Oh.
Yeah, and it was fun though. I think part of the fun was just the process of just physically transforming my body through what I was doing. I think it's great.
Brings you back to semiotics. That does.
Yeah.
How about that? So, at what stage are you at
I've
relearning it and stuff?
sort of had to start almost again.
Oh. Yeah.
Because I went from having like a lesson a week and practicing about 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Sorry, not 3 times, for 3 hours a day. Sorry.
Wow.
To barely touching it. I mean, one of the problems I had was I had to bring I have an electronic keyboard, electronic piano that I have, but it takes up a lot of room, and that was a problem where I was in first year.
Sure.
Because it's just space. I'd have to set it up, and I think even when it was just there, I'd sort of, I don't know, I had other things to do, and it kind of took a back seat, and so I've forgotten pretty much all of the stuff that I learned in my lessons just through lack of playing them. And so I thought, right, when I sort of recently started getting back into it, I thought, right, I'm just going to start from scratch, and I'm going to apply what I learned before, this idea of just repetition.
Sure.
And so I went through I found some free music scores online.
Okay.
And I came across this piece by Bartók. It's a Romanian folk dance. But because it's Bartók and he's a modernist composer, it's just full of discords and crazy figures and that.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Okay.
And I found this really short piece, and just by playing it over and over again, I learnt it in quite a short amount of time. I thought, oh, maybe I can learn because I think it was like the fourth piece in a suite of 6. So I thought, well, it's a bit daft if I just have the one.
Yeah.
And I thought I might as well learn the rest. So I got obtained the copies of the rest of them, and I've now managed to learn the first 5, and I'm now trying to learn the 6th one, and it's hard.
Nice.
Really hard. The rest of them are alright, but this one has some really big leaps in it that it's really fast as well. I'm getting there.
That's good. It just so happens that I have a piano right here. I don't.
You don't. Well, would you be able to fit it in here?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Like, you just maybe put it slant it up against the side, and you'd have to
You'd have to take this shelf out.
Yeah, take the shelf out and do it through there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you mimic the piano?
What with
just
with my
noise?
voice?
Yeah,
no.
Ding 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 ding.
That's the start.
Well, that was something.
That's the start of the. I can't remember what it's called. That's the first of the Romanian folk dances.
Okay.
By Bartók. That's like the melody bit, sort of.
That's really nice. I'll put a little.
Yeah.
I'll put a flang on that, and a bit of a phaser, and that will.
Yeah, I as much as I enjoy music, I can't sing to save my life. I can't hit notes where they should be.
Wow, who can really? Let's
Sick.
be honest. Yeah. All right, we're getting towards the end.
All right,
would you believe it? Usually I would have had a break, but we were talking about comedy that much that we were just in such a swing and a flow. Is there anything else you want to talk about? You got anything to promote, maybe?
Well,
now is the time.
Yes. So on the, if I remember correctly, the 28th of January, which I think is a Saturday, should be a Saturday. Sad Goblin are putting on a
Of course.
they're putting on an alternative experimental comedy show called Cheeky Goblin.
Cheeky Goblin.
It's got myself, and it's got a fair few of us from the Comedy Society at the moment. We're performing, and it's with the remit is that we're doing everything. Whatever we do is different to what we would normally do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be quite offensive. I know. I can say that right now. It's just I'm going to try and be as offensive as possible. Because normally I go for like really. I like clean one-liners.
Yeah.
And then the odd like dirty bit there, but I like it. I like it clean.
Yeah.
Mostly because I want to get booked, and promoters don't like it when new acts do blue stuff.
Yeah.
Too early on.
Sure.
So that's why I've been doing that. So it'd be nice to just be like, right, what have I wanted to do that I've never been able to do before?
Just go for it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go for it, and so will everyone else. So that'd be fun. I think if you wanted to find out about it, I can't give you the address because it's at someone's house. So if you want to know about it, you have to. If you
Message.
look for So if you add, or if you like Sad Goblin on Facebook, and look at their events, or search for Cheeky Goblin. I think it tells you on the page how you can like find out about them.
Yeah.
And I think you have to like message the page to find an address or something like that. Yeah, I mean it's proper. This is proper.
You have to put your effort in if you want to attend.
Yeah, I mean this is proper DIY stuff.
I mean you're only going to go to this gig
Yeah.
if you want to. It's not like it's there's something to do.
I like it. There's something about it. I like that whole DIY ethos. I think the guys who run it are such hardworking guys, and they care about music and comedy, and they care about they put to shame this idea that millennials are all lazy.
Oh, that's a hot topic.
But we won't go into that. But they're just like, hey, we want to make music, and we want people to hear it, but we know that people can't necessarily afford ticket prices.
Yeah.
Let's just put it in our house and annoy the neighbours. I think that's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And you get some weird and wonderful stuff from that kind of situation. Sure. So there's that, and February the 13th, the Comedy Society are having their next monthly gig. It's going to be an anti-Valentine's Day special. I mean, it can't be Valentine's because that's the day after, and that'd be weird.
Yeah, sure.
So I imagine there will be some love-themed jokes there, or some lost love themed
no doubt
material, or just some comedy in general. I mean, it makes sense that we do an anti-Valentine's Day gig anyway, because I think if we were any good at getting a Valentine's, we wouldn't be in the Comedy Society, would we?
Goes hand in hand.
Yeah, so it makes sense. I might be performing in Corby at the end of February.
Okay.
I don't know if I can promote it. It hasn't been confirmed yet, so I've applied.
Look out for that.
I did one of those. I will say I did one of their shows in September, I think.
Okay.
Just gone, and it was great because halfway through I was given 15 minutes.
Ooh.
And I have like 3 jokes. So I was like, wow, I've got to fill the time.
You just improvise.
Well, no, I took stuff that I'd written and I threw it all together. And like the stuff that I hadn't really tried, I knew it was really interesting night because like, I mean, I think I was just nervous, but like, the stuff that I knew might not work, they reacted the way I expected. That was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't laugh at it, or they laughed and I was happy with it. It didn't matter. But then there were jokes that I knew worked, and I sort of get like a laugh in the corner of the room, and then and then the next joke I get another laugh, like a cluster of laughs from like another part of the room, and I think, and I the whole time I was there, the whole time leading up to it, I was like, right, just stick to script.
Yeah.
Don't go off the tracks because it doesn't work. Like
Sure.
one thing I've learned is I'm not good at improvising, and I don't
Yeah.
wish to be. Just stick to script. I got halfway through, and I was getting like some laughs here, some laughs there, and I was like, I just lost it. I went, guys, we're 3 acts in. You need to speed up here. I think I must have been watching too much Stuart Lee, because I realised afterwards, I was like, oh, he does that he has a show called If You Prefer a Mild Comedian, Please Ask for One.
Yeah.
And if the audience don't laugh, there's a couple of bits where the audience don't laugh where they expect him to laugh, in the way that he expects them to laugh.
Yeah.
And so he's like, what? He just rips into us like, what's going on here? Like, you guys are alright. And I in the heat of the moment, unwittingly did that.
I think everyone's done that.
Yeah, and I was like, guys, speed up, come on. I was like, clicking my fingers, like, come on, guys, like, I know I'm weird, but come on, like, you're alright, you got it. Why did the rest of you? Where were you? And I think I had more fun doing that than just like, and I got a few bits out of it as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was quite chuffed, and it was for charity as well, so I wasn't bothered if they liked me or not.
That's pretty good.
And yeah, so I'm hoping to perform there again. It's in the Corby suite of the Holiday Inn in Corby, Kettering.
Okay.
Which would be interesting.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and I haven't got anything planned. Other than the Comedy Society have currently got a gig every month at the start of the month. So the last one was at the 9th of January. The next one is the 13th of February. And the next one, the one after that, is the Chortle Student Comedy Awards.
Ah, nice.
I think it's March. Pretty sure it's March. Yeah, I mean, so so there's a Lincoln Heat, and it's happening at the platform, which is above the engine shed. If you go on the Chortle website, entries should be open now. And so if you want to, I did one last year, and went all right. I didn't win, which was a crime, really. I think it was fixed. I think
it's always a good thing to do, though. That
it was good, yeah. Completely different to what I've been used to.
Yeah.
And I want to come.
Go see that. Go to the Comedy Society. Go to their gigs. Enjoy that. Go to the Cheeky Goblin. Do the searches on Facebook for that. Find out where it is. If you want to go, they'll let you in. If you don't want to go, they won't let you in. And yeah, do all that and stuff. But all I've got left to say is thank you, Ross, for being my guest.
Thank you.
Inside the Wardrobe. This has been the host of the Guest in the Wardrobe. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Hashtag HGWPod. You know, get it going, share it. Tell me what you think, because Lord knows I don't know. But thanks for listening, and we'll be back probably next week. Who knows? Got to find that guest. So yeah, bye. That was a show.
Wow.